we review the horror films and horror adjacent films you can stream on the internet. Today we are reviewing quite a movie. We are going to be reviewing Hellraiser 3: Hell on Earth, a movie that I watched way too many times back at slumber parties. Another thing that warped me as a young Rachel. Probably too soon. And it was weird watching it again this time. I was like, this one was a little sexier and more problematic than I remembered, but okay. Oh, yes. And joining me is my favorite co-host, the one and only Mars, aka a stone statue that will eat all of your delicious bread products and sandwiches.
Damn straight.
I listened to the episode that you did with Hurley when I was gone, and we should just call it the Ode to Bread. It's amazing.
It like 75% was just about bread.
To be honest,
things you can do with bread.
I'm ready for like a bread-only spinoff. I would listen to you and Hurley talk about bread all day, every day. Like put a little cheese on it, and now we're talking. And speaking of things that go together like bread and cheese, joining us back again on this adventure, trial, punishment, you decide, to go through all of the Hellraiser series. It is Larry and Justin of the Here's Johnny podcast.
Why, hello.
Hi. All right. How are you feeling? How do you feel about bread? Are you pro bread? Are you anti bread?
Bread is the reason why I can't go keto.
Bread is the reason I continue to live, because I don't know, it's like my lifeblood. That's like what I eat all the time.
Bread is life.
Bread is the greatest thing.
What is your favorite sandwich?
We actually answered that question over on our Patreon.
You did?
Yes.
Yeah. So, Justin, we answered that question. We wondered if anybody even listened to the post content.
And now we know.
You were one of the people who we thought might. So now we know it's not you.
Which episode was it? Because I do listen to the Fireside Chat.
2 ago?
2 or 3?
What was the thing? It might have been something I hadn't seen.
Dead Space 3?
Yeah, Dead Space 3.
Oh, yeah, I haven't gotten to that one. I'm busted. You got me. You got me.
But we did answer that. It was actually a fun conversation.
Yeah,
let's have it again.
Mine's very simple. I like a breakfast sandwich. Breakfast is my favorite meal of the day. So,
Mine was a meatball sub with banana peppers.
Ooh, that's a good answer. What about you, Marzi? What is your fave sandwich?
Oh, I mean, I love a good Cubano.
That's the answer.
Yep.
That is the correct answer.
Yep, but
the king of sandwiches is the Cubano.
But do you also remember that? Oh, was it?
Oh God, the blackened salmon sandwich.
The blackened salmon sandwich.
I don't like to think about it because they took it away from us.
It makes me so sad.
Where did you get it from?
There was this brunch place in Niles, which is this little, I'm sure I've talked about Niles before. It's this little town that's near us that was the original Hollywood. Like, it's all Charlie Chaplin. Charlie Chaplin's house is there.
Ooh,
and he shot all of his movies there. It's a really cool little town. We used to have we called them Lady Days, where we would go for brunch there and be fancy and then, like, I don't know. But there was this blackened salmon sandwich. It was legendary.
It was only there for 2 of our lady days. And the first time I got it and freaked out. So the second time Rachel and I both got it, and then it disappeared forever.
So that restaurant is actually closed now, and I don't think it's a coincidence that I followed after getting rid of that sandwich, because it no longer had a reason to live.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel like one thing led to another.
Right? They also had really great, like, pitchers of fruity, juicy, alcoholic beverages that we would buy by the pitcher. I remember getting some, like, passion fruit soju joint that was amazing.
Yeah, and then we'd go to antique stores afterwards and just be, like, too excited.
Yes, you would be drawn to everything that sparkled, and I would be like, I need 17 more hats. Yeah, those
were good days.
Those were good days. We should definitely do brunch when I come up and see you next month.
Yes.
Before I get on a plane, we need to brunch.
Yes.
I'm hungry. Can you tell? I haven't eaten dinner yet.
I tried the flaming hot Dorito wings at B-Dubs this week.
Oh, and how was that journey?
Fucking
on a scale?
awful.
Oh, it was?
No!
Okay,
well, the thing is, like, the spiciness was fine, but, like, Dorito cheese flavor on a wing, it's as bad as you would imagine.
Like it sounds like it would be delicious. It sounds like 2 delicious garbage foods have come together.
No, not cheese wings.
But, like, yeah. Or if you were
it's
in a
not for me.
Hellraiser, a wing-based Hellraiser situation, what would be your hell? Would it be the Doritos one, or would it be the truffle sauce?
The truffle sauce was the worst thing I've ever
Okay.
had at Buffalo Wild Wings, and it's not even close.
Okay.
The truffle sauce was such a mistake on so many different levels. I cannot begin to describe how absolutely terrible that was.
Just like on a philosophical level.
Yeah, and like I had never had truffle before, and like now like I have no interest in even trying it because that was just disgusting.
I feel like probably that was not truffle.
Probably.
I feel like B-Dubs is not going to be able to get the bulk truffle order they would need in order to...
Yeah, the Truffalo experience was what I have no interest in ever going again, and I wouldn't even recommend anybody experience it to suffer as I did.
Would you recommend that people who are curious try the Dorito wing?
If you like Doritos and like the idea of a cheesy flavored buffalo wing, maybe. It was just not what I like. Like I like savory.
I just can't imagine a scenario where cheese wouldn't improve something.
Breakfast cereal.
Yeah.
I mean, depends on the cheese.
Dorito cheese. We're really talking about Dorito cheese.
Right.
So imagine Dorito cheese on your blackened salmon sandwich.
I mean, I'd try it.
I'd try it.
One of the... So I think I talked about this before. There was a place at my college called Bagel and Deli.
Mm-hmm.
It was on Man vs. Food, but their whole shtick was that you came in there and they had like hundreds of different combinations of different sandwiches on different kinds of bagels. And one was called a Crunch and Munch, which was basically like ham, cheese, and Doritos on like a bagel.
Holy shit. This makes me want to smoke marijuana.
and it's like the crowd favorite. I didn't like it because I'm not a big Dorito guy unless it's Cool Ranch.
Controversial.
But Devin loved it. Mine was always the Afterburner, which goes back to like what my favorite sandwich was. It's like a meatball sub with a lot of pepper jack cheese and peppers, and then it also came with a cigarette.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tell me you're not in California without telling me.
Yeah.
Sorry, Marty, you've been trying to talk. What were you saying?
Oh, no, since we're on sandwiches, the Lova brought me back a sandwich that he made at work today because he slow roasted a pork shoulder.
Ooh.
And he made the sauce, and oh my God, it was so good.
Hell yeah. If you like slow roast anything, I'm going to eat it.
Yeah, right? Oh,
yeah.
Snails.
I would try it.
I'm going to a French restaurant tomorrow that has snails.
Are you going to try it?
I've never had it, and I'm not brave enough to try it.
I've had them. The butter part was good, and then it's just like kind of chewy. Yeah. Texturally,
so
it's a bummer.
Then? Why do we eat them?
I mean, why do people eat blood sausage? I don't know. People like a challenge. They also have frog legs, which I will not be participating in.
Ew.
I did have frog legs one time. They don't taste bad. It's just hard to get over the fact they're eating.
I heard they taste like fishy chicken, which is my worst kind of chicken.
It does taste like fishy chicken. That's a really good way to describe it.
That sounds disgusting.
Fish is supposed to taste like fish, and chicken is supposed to taste like chicken, and that is an unnatural pairing.
Yeah, it's something.
You remember when Maggie ate the alligator and she was like, yes. I think it's an amphibian of some sort. I'm tasting a little bit of land in there. That's the first thing I thought of.
She was right.
She was right.
Yeah. What is the grossest thing you eat in Canada, Justin? What is the gross food up there? Is it some more like weird fermented fish or something?
Canadian bacon.
Oh,
Justin, I saw some at the store, and it was just the ham circles that we
Do you know
about.
this is his trigger word?
Oh, yeah, we talked about it.
Okay.
God,
it's like danger. Danger.
The gross thing we eat in Canada. I mean, I don't think so, because I don't eat the gross. Hey, you fucking watch your mouth.
How dare you?
My first poutine experience is going to be what Justin makes for us up at the cabin.
And don't you dare try to have some earlier. Because
I won't. I've already decided I'm going to wait to have true Canadian poutine from a true Canadian.
Okay, yeah, you can't have any fries with like a sauce, because that's like the over the shirt of a poutine, and you need to lose it with Justin.
I mean, she's not wrong.
No. And try the poutine.
trying to think if there's any gross food. Like,
there has to be some weird thing that you.
But see, that's the thing is,
it
like,
comes from the culture of it being very cold in the winter, and you're like,
you know what?
Yeah,
Here, I'm
we'll still
on
eat
my
this.
computer. Let me Google.
So a kind of thing that my family always did, and I always hated it. They made these things called Grrlz. Have you guys ever heard of that? Is that I think that might just be like a my family or an Ohio thing.
Well, yeah. What's your Ohio thing? That's what I want to know.
So basically, you get all of like the extra meats from animals that no one wants, like the hearts and the liver.
This is like a Scrapple situation.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. Yeah, and they blend it all down and they make it into patties.
Ew.
I've tried that. Didn't care for it.
Yeah, it's
right.
way too...
I made you eat Scrapple, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Sorry.
It's way too salty and it's way too mushy. So it's like it's just really unpleasant. One time my dad did boil a cow tongue and like presented it as the cow tongue. And that is like still embedded in my head as just how fucking terrible that was.
My dad loves all that stuff. He loves tongue. He loves gizzards. He used to fry up chicken hearts for breakfast. I'm like, Dad, it is not the Great Depression anymore. Get yourself some nice regular meat.
Have you guys had a Nanaimo bar before?
A what?
I've heard of them, but I've never had
a
one.
Nanaimo bar. It's graham cracker crumb, coconut, walnut, vanilla custard, and chocolate.
Good. Okay,
amazing.
I thought you were
you want
something gross. That's all amazing.
I'm looking at a list of like the most quote unquote Canadian foods, and I came across that. Oh, man, I'm just tourtière. I think is gross, but a lot of people like it.
Is that turtle?
Tourtière is like a spiced, savory meat pie from Quebec. But
meat pie. Whenever I hear meat pie, I immediately just go to sweet.
So here's the thing.
I just think of like gray meat in the middle because it hasn't had any char on it.
Yes. So yeah, it's the thing is if you don't have it a lot, it's okay. But when you're Canadian and your mother is from Quebec, you eat it a lot. And it gets to a point where every time you eat it, you want to immediately vomit.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't like, I guess that. It's just meat pie. It's just like gross meat pie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm delighted by much of your culture. I think tourtière is a no for me.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is like, I think I'm old enough now. I don't fucking eat it, so I've just kind of like blanked it from my mind.
You're like, I'm a grown up. I knew I was a grown up when I no longer had to eat meat pie.
Yeah, like...
Voting, renting cars, whatever. Meat pie out of my life. I'm a grown up. Raising whole humans. Nope, meat pie.
No.
But all right, let's get into this.
Rachel,
we have gone off the rails as usual.
With us?
I don't know. It's why we're fatties. Like, I've solved the mystery. It was on the back of the food that we brought. They're called calories. Okay, anyway, once again, we are stealing the format of Here's Johnny, which means we're going to start by what we have been watching, reading, playing, etc. Whatever you want to kind of talk about that you've been up to lately. Starting, I haven't heard your voice in a little while, Marzi, because you apparently are not a disgusting gobbler of food. What have you been watching, reading, whatever?
So actually, I just hung out with Hurley last weekend.
I love her so much.
Yeah,
it's
she
so
actually
good to hear her voice again. I missed her so much.
Oh, we had so much fun doing last episode. And then,
I could tell.
Hanging out, it was so funny. She just moved, and we're driving out there. Yeah, well, she's been in her place since before COVID, and then she moved to a new place just a couple weeks ago. But we're driving out there, and the lover's driving so that I can drink with Hurley, and I don't have to, think about driving back to Gresham. And I'm looking at the area, and I'm like, this looks so weirdly familiar. And she moved maybe 9 blocks from where I used to live before I moved to California.
Oh, whoa, weird.
Yeah, it was super weird. So I was like, we were just walking to the different places, the bars and the restaurants and stuff that we stopped at. And I was like, oh my God, that's where I used to deposit my paychecks. And oh my God, this is the grocery store where I used to buy sandwiches. And it was super crazy. But it's also, like, I haven't seen her in so long. So it turned into Christmas gift exchange.
Oh my God.
That's where we're at.
Amazing.
And so I haven't started them yet. But I never buy horror novels myself because Hurley, I don't know how she does it.
She's got the gift.
She's got the gift. So I just wait for some sort of gift-giving occasion because she always gets me horror books. And so she got me 2. I haven't started either of them yet, but I'm really excited about them. But she got me The Children of Red Peak by Craig DeLuey. Heard of it? No?
But I'm interested.
The one I'm really excited about, because she was telling me about it when she finished it, is called Come Closer by Sarah Gran.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's
I
super
like the
short.
name.
Oh, wait. I'll be right back. I also have something. I totally forgot about this, Mars. 1 second.
Okay. The suspense is building.
Okay.
Shall we talk about food till he gets back?
So I totally forgot, Mars, that you are also a horror reader, but also a book person, too.
Okay.
I've already talked about how I got The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Devin and I went to Barnes & Noble because we went and picked out a bookshelf and decided the best thing to do was to pick out new books for the bookshelf.
Obviously.
So we got Wonderland by Zoe Stage. Have you guys heard of that?
No.
So that's kind of like almost a Blair Witchy one.
Ooh.
Oh.
Nice.
We got one called The Twisted Ones by T. Kingfisher.
No, I haven't heard of that one either.
So this is one like where this girl is helping her grandma empty out after her grandfather died, and she finds his journal.
Ooh.
Yeah. I got a vampire one, of course. It's called Necroscope by Brian Lumley.
Yeah, this one has been recommended to me a few
Oh, you've heard of
times,
this
and
one?
Yeah, this one, there's like so many of those books. And they are so beloved, and there's finally some adaptation of the first one coming.
Interesting. I did not know that. I just saw vampires, and I'm a sucker for it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the other one I got, this was one Devin got mainly, but I'm excited to read it too, is called Plain Bad Heroines by Emily Danforth.
Dude, yeah, everybody is reading this right now.
Okay,
yes.
so you've heard of it.
Yes,
I
it's on my
was,
to-read list. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought if there was one that you would like, Rachel, it was going to be that one. Like, if you had heard of it. But it's like
This is my next book, but you jumped the line with De-Evolution.
Yeah.
But
it's like super queer, and it sounds really interesting. It's like so...
Yep.
But yeah, Mark, I totally forgot. I haven't even told Justin or Rachel about it. But yeah, I got some books.
New books. Sorry, I haven't gotten new books in a while. I'm very excited. But this Come Closer, Hurley was telling me about. It's a first person telling of being possessed, the evolution of realizing something's off, and then like, I'm so excited. So I haven't started it yet.
I gotta add this to my wish list. That sounds amazing.
You said De-Evolution's on your list?
I forced it on her. Because I finished it.
I love that book.
It was amazing.
Oh, it's so good.
I liked World War Z, but I don't think it hit as well for me as it did for a lot of other people. Like, it's one of Devin's favorite books ever.
I mean, I like it, but I like De-Evolution
Me too.
more.
Yeah, exactly. Me
by
too.
a lot.
And like literally, like I couldn't put it down.
Oh, I know. Oh my god. I think it's the only horror book I've ever read that I actually had nightmares afterwards.
I think I posted in Discord or I texted somebody. Like I literally had to stop reading one night because I was like uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's
so
exciting.
Because I was reading down on the couch because like so Debbie could sleep, and like I had the lights on down there, and I had the back door open, and like we live in an apartment complex, but even that was like too much.
Ooh.
It was.
That one's good.
It definitely. I don't know.
Sticks with you.
There was just something very, very cool about the way that narrative goes.
Yeah.
And
yeah, big fan.
And I was telling Rachel that for me, the cool parts are all the characters go on journeys. Like, they all have arcs. Every single one. Which is really unique, I think, for a lot of books. Because usually you just have your side piece characters. But, like, everybody was doing something in this one.
And I think, much like... Oh, crap, Rachel, what's that movie with the dark roulette?
The dark... Oh,
The meteor.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
A meteor?
Well... There's a movie, and I cannot remember for the life of me.
I'm getting there. I'm doing like my 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon to get there. Coherence.
It takes place in the Bay Area, and Rachel was saying she's met every one of those characters because they're so perfectly stereotypically.
I mean,
like, Bay
I've
Area
met
characters.
the equivalent of that.
Well, no. I know what you mean. Well, that's a good sign because that's how you know, like, they're writing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I felt that way about all the characters in De-Evolution. I was like, oh my god, I've met every one of these people before.
Yeah,
I'm
excited. It was really, really cool. And I was telling Rachel I didn't know that Max Brooks is a professor at West Point.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, he works. He's a associate professor in their Department of War. Like, he helps with like strategy.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, incredible stuff. He was not there when I was there. I can tell you that.
Oh. But anyway, that's it's not exactly like what I'm currently up to, but it's what I'm about to be up to.
Mhm.
When
Well, I'm definitely going to want updates about those. I have tagged all of them, and they are all available at my library, so
Yes.
I will be joining you on these journeys.
Rachel, you
Yes.
could start your own library.
I could start my... Dude, I'm trying to move.
Yes, and
I don't want to pack that shit.
with books.
Yes, and you know what sucks? Packing books, because books go beautifully in a box, and then you try to lift them, and you're like, I've made a terrible mistake.
Plus, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do in the bunker when we all retreat into the woods to live our colony
I'm going to
life?
count on you guys to recount the stories in detail to me.
Like
you're
Ring of Fire
you're
style?
going to be my audiobook.
Was it Ring of Fire when they're performing Star Wars in the beginning because they don't have books?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to narration. Oh, how about you, Justin? What have you been watching, listening to, playing?
So I started watching Letterkenny.
You did? I thought you were anti-Letterkenny.
So I was anti-Trailer Park Boys.
Yes, I
And
knew
it
that.
came off
Crazy.
at like first glance. It kind of came across like it would be the same
Yeah.
style of show, like same
It's similar.
stupid, like I don't know. I really don't like Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah, people are getting feisty in the audience right now.
I know. Sorry. Hey,
No, I
listen,
don't care. It's fine.
I'm Canadian. I'm allowed to dislike that show. Okay?
Right. Yeah, don't tell him about his culture.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, Trailer Park Boys is Canadian culture.
But
Is it the Canadian bacon of Canadian culture?
Oh no!
it's the worst.
Trailer
Anyways,
Park Boys, Rush, and Tim Hortons.
Yes.
well, yeah, pretty much right there. But Letterkenny is fantastic. It is hilarious. I think we watched 3 seasons in like a week.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. And it gets a lot of that stuff right.
Are there more hours in a day in Canada? I'm trying to figure out how you consume so much media. I understand you're further up on the curvature of the earth. Like, are there more hours up there also?
It's called being a workaholic, I think.
Oh.
Yeah. But no. Anyways, so I've been watching Letterkenny. They get a lot of stuff right. It's actually only filmed and takes place less than 2 hours away from me, so a lot of that stuff hits home. They talk about where my wife is from all the time.
Where's that?
Peterborough, Ontario.
Huh.
I don't know. It's super hick country. The other thing I did was I got to play the new Evil Dead game, which comes out a week from today when this comes out publicly.
Perfect.
Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know. It was a lot of fun. It's definitely a love letter to the series, which is nice. And Chaboy Justin got the scoop. Some stuff they haven't been asked before or at that time as of yet. It is canonical.
Oh.
It takes place in the same timeline as the new movie that's coming out this year.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes, and they are adding Mia and Evil Mia from...
Hell yeah. So we're saying that Evil Dead is also canonical?
That's what that means. Yeah. So
What?
I'm surprised nobody asked them that.
Holy shit.
And then by the time this comes out as well, I'll have a interview with Joe DeLuca, who does like the music for the Chucky
Rad.
TV series, the Evil Dead series, and he's doing the stuff for the game too. So
That's so amazing. Congrats,
Yeah.
buddy.
thank you. And
Yeah.
one thing that we hadn't talked about yet is Rachel and I have recorded something super secret and super special.
I know. I'm
It's
so
been
excited.
recorded. It has been recorded. We just need to go through it.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm very excited for that.
Yeah.
I figure that probably won't even see the light of day until like the end of May, probably.
Probably not, because we have
Yeah.
a lot of legwork still
We
to
got
do
a
on
lot
it,
of legwork,
and
but
we want to make it.
yes.
We want
But
to
the hard
treat
part
it
is done. The hard part is done. Well, not even the hard part, but
like the most joyful part. Now the work
Yes.
begins.
yeah, that's a better way to put it.
What
yeah.
you meant is the fun part is done.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's like, okay. We can say that this is the first time that you and I have done this sort of thing together.
Yes. I think it went really well.
I do too.
And
I think it turned out well. I think our system worked really well.
Yes.
I think our chemistry, like the way that we work together, is really good. It was good. I'm excited for people to hear this.
It's definitely a project of love, so it's going to kind of take its, it takes however long it takes to come out, but it's going to be good. Yep. It's going to be good when it comes out.
Amazing.
Yes. Yeah.
People, y'all don't even know. It's going to be so good.
Like, I feel kind of shitty talking about, like, hey, by the way, secret, but whatever.
We got to build the hype, though. We don't want to just
definitely.
drop this thing and have people not know what it, the diamond that's coming. We want to build the anticipation.
Yeah.
The lure, the mythology must come first. So then they're super disappointed. Well, we won't be, so whatever.
No, exactly. Yeah.
How about you, Lerald? What have you been watching?
Not a whole lot. Like I've kind of mentioned, like it's been really busy at work and with school and everything. But honestly, besides that, I have been experiencing another V.C. Andrews book.
Experiencing.
And I have 2 hours left, and I think I had the bathtub scene, Rachel.
I'm amazed you were able to resist going into the chat and just being like, fuck all of you, we're done.
I was driving, and then I was sitting in line waiting to do the oil change before I found out about the squirrel damage. So, like, I had no internet. I was just sitting in my truck in the drive-thru for Valvoline, just listening with shock and horror.
Was it the butthole inspection? Is that what got you?
It was just everything. It was
New band name.
and I am just honestly terrified because I have a bad fear that one of the only nice people is about to like pull a V.C. Andrews, and I mean
it's a V.C. Andrews book. They're all gonna do the V.C. Andrews thing.
And my God,
who are you worried about?
Cal.
Cal? Oh, right, yeah.
And it's a lot. Listening to these audiobooks for V.C. Andrews, it is an emotional journey. Like I couldn't do it today. Like I could not do it when I was in the hood for 5 hours. Like I just could not do it.
What does it say that it is where I find the greatest amount of serotonin? Like I cannot stop. I cannot stop. Real life disappoints. Is there any part of you, Mars and Justin, that as we talk about this, you're like, maybe I should just to find out?
I mean, I heard something about
100%.
I heard something about a butthole inspection. I was like, oh man,
100%. I'm like, I want to know. I know that I might regret it.
I would recommend going on my journey. Like, start with Flowers in the Attic and think there's no way the shit can get crazier than this, and then go to My Sweet Audrina. Have that same reaction, and then get to this one, and it's just like, okay, well, all bets are off now.
Wait, what are you reading right now?
Heaven.
Okay.
Book 1 in the
first
Castile.
of the Castile series.
Oh.
I'm just so glad that a handful of years ago, a stranger emailed me on the internet to come on and have an intellectual discussion about the Suspiria remake. Flash forward, and I'm like, watch this creepy shit and listen to this creepy shit that I read when I was a child that turned me into a pervert. I have painted for you.
Yes.
It's not that I don't believe the quality of the reactions to this, but I still 100% I'm like, I want to know what dark world this is.
I think you should do it, Mars. I would love nothing more in life than to hear your reaction to a V.C. Andrews novel.
All right. I'm doing it.
I'm
gonna have to.
It truly is something.
Okay, cool. So what have I been watching?
Yes, Rachel, what have you been getting into?
Yes, I have not been watching much because, like you, I mostly watch things for either work or the podcast.
Yeah.
But I did get to check out the entire first season of Severance. Have you guys watched this?
Oh,
no,
someone at work.
I am intrigued by it.
Yeah.
Holy shit, y'all. Priority watching.
No, Apple Plus has burned me.
Yeah, all the shows that are getting recommended to me are on services that I don't have.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing is, this is something that Ariel and I were talking about yesterday, is that in this era of having to pay for all these streaming services, I'm rapidly discovering that Apple Plus is probably the one that I want. That and HBO.
I was going to say HBO is.
Yeah, HBO, that one, Shudder. I think my time with Netflix is coming to an end.
But this is a time where you got
Hulu I could probably do without. I think their programming is so it is like the prestige TV of prestige TV. It might be worth throwing money at. Because that is Severance is incredible. There are things in it that I have never seen before. There is an unexpected love story that is so sweet. It is total corporate dystopia.
So what you're saying is it's Ben Stiller's best since Meet the Parents?
It's Ben Stiller's best.
Wow, Meet the Parents is...
No, this is better. I mean, it's different. It's very different. But it's a much more mature thing, for sure. It's annoying to me, though, that it keeps getting called Ben Stiller's project because he directed half the episodes and a woman directed the other half, but you only see his name on the marketing.
I thought I guess from what I understood, like from the marketing, I guess, was that he was the person behind the project.
Yeah, he is probably the executive producer in the show.
Yeah.
I don't know, not showrunner, but but he didn't write it and he direct half of it. But it's just whatever. But whatever. We all know how I roll. But so it's incredible. Definitely highly recommend that, especially in these dystopian times that we live in. The other thing I've been watching is Moon Knight, which is really, really enjoyable. It's disconnected enough from the Marvel universe that you don't have to be totally up to date with it. I don't know if it's going to lead in to the next phase of the Marvel universe or not, but it's very much its own thing currently, and a handful of the episodes are directed by Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead, who directed Resolution and The Endless. Mars, do you remember?
Yeah.
Yes, and their episodes are great, like super weird and trippy.
Oh, nice. Because those are good movies too.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm like, yes, higher profile for them. Give them all the monies. They have a new movie coming out this year called Something in the Dirt that I'm sure we'll be covering.
Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah, and it stars them again, so I'll get to look at Justin Benson and his handsome beardy face. I can't wait. So yeah, that's what I've been watching. In addition to having seen the first movie.
That's right.
For the first time ever, because that was my forcing, and I enjoyed it very much.
Good.
It is such a good movie.
Thank you, Justin.
It's very sweet.
She didn't cry.
You're broken inside.
That's what I said.
I guess. I'm surprised. I always cry. I don't know why. I'm such an easy mark. I don't know why I didn't cry.
I was like, my brother didn't just trigger everything inside of you to come
God,
out.
Larry, you can't talk about it. I'm going to start crying right now.
Oh my God, what is wrong with you? To me, I thought the saddest part was Pikachu running away from all of the balls and running out of energy while he's running up the stairs. I was like, oh, this is sad. I guess I'm broken. Oh well. What are you going to do?
How does it feel?
I don't know. Apparently I can't.
Oh, and one thing I should mention, Rachel did force upon me The Terminator, which I watched for the first time.
Yes!
And it was awesome. It was full stop awesome.
Yes! You've seen it, right, Justin? The Terminator?
Sorry, what movie? The Terminator? No.
Yeah. Really?
We talked about it.
I'm just fucking with you.
Oh, I was like, really? This is hurting my heart. But actually it doesn't, because it just means I get to force it on someone else.
No, I love The Terminator. So I think Terminator 2 is like peak action movie, but Terminator 1 is like peak sci-fi horror.
Yeah, it definitely has so many horror elements that I was like not really prepared to see. And I am going to, with another next month's forcing, Rachel has pressed upon me Total Recall, which I had not seen yet either.
I have not seen Total Recall either.
Justin! All right, well here, the challenge has been laid before you. Total Recall or GTFO.
Oh, Total Recall's good.
All right, guys, bye. No, I'm just kidding. I have a question. Has everybody here seen the first season of Cursed Films?
Yeah.
No.
I am waiting for it to finish before I watch the second season, Justin.
Okay, so basically they just talk about problems that movies had while they were
like
being
the fucking Twilight Zone where you literally see someone die.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
literally, they showed the footage of the last.
They should have prepared us for it because I was not.
Yeah,
ready.
I don't want to see that. I don't want to see
Devin is so mad at me for that because I didn't know it, but she was pissed.
Oh, either did
she was sitting there and I didn't need to see someone die.
If that, I don't want to watch Faces of Death. I like fake people dying. That's my jam.
Same. So season 2 came out.
Yeah.
Or is like
slowly
coming
rolling
out.
Yeah.
I have a big issue with one of the episodes already.
Which one?
Larry,
God.
I hope you don't care. I am going to talk about it right
Which
now
movie?
quickly. Rosemary's Baby.
Okay, I'm going to mute it,
Oh.
and you can just let me know when you're done. I am planning on
Okay.
watching it.
Okay. Wait, did he mute himself?
Or
Wait,
did
Larry, that's
You
not
know,
how
you
that works.
hear with your ears and talk with your mouth.
So they talk about like productions and like how they're always like people die in the set and all this other like, or like a movie is cursed, so like messed up stuff happens to the people while they're filming.
Mm-hmm.
So they do an episode of Rosemary's Baby.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, they only talk about the movie in like the first 5 minutes.
Okay.
They talk about the Manson murders. It's interesting. It's, you know, it's cool, but they didn't.
Did they not talk about Roman Polanski?
No, they didn't. Which is like, seems like
What?
a really big, like,
What?
Oversight.
yeah. So when we were watching it and all these people are like, oh yeah, Roman Polanski. And I'm like, let's not forget he raped somebody.
I think it's relevant.
Yeah. I don't know. It was like really weird because then they stopped talking about the movie and then they just talked about like all the Manson stuff, which again is, you know, interesting. And I would love to watch an episode knowing that that's what I was going into. But to say like, oh yeah, we're going to dive deep into Rosemary's Baby and how it was cursed all along and then talk about the movie for 5 minutes, not even mention what Roman Polanski did.
Oh my god.
And then just like,
Get
Talk
ready for
about-
Laryl to fucking be pissed when he watches it.
yeah, I don't know. Anyways, I needed to vent a minute for that. So I'm going to tell Larry he can
Yeah.
come back in. Oh, actually, I have a favor.
Yes.
Can one of you tell him he can come back in?
Yeah. All right, hold on.
Yeah.
Come back, you. Laryl, we miss you. Come back.
Where is he?
I have
Where
returned.
is he? You're back?
Yes.
You're back.
We just go right into the Hellraiser?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this brother, my brother. How sweet. I was like, wait, this doesn't remind me of Pinhead. What's
No,
going on?
I was
And
just
then-
like trying to like waste a minute or two there while it was like loading on, and then I remembered I wanted to talk about something too. So
Oh,
it
okay.
worked out for me, but
But no, I am excited. I actually didn't know they had a Rosemary's Baby episode, so I'm actually pretty pumped for that because we reviewed that with my sweet Audrina.
We'll revisit this after you watch.
as soon as you watch the Rosemary's Baby episode, I want you to message me.
I think it's funny that you think he's not going to immediately turn to the internet
Yeah.
and comment.
Even if it is fucking 3:00 in the morning on a Wednesday for whatever reason, I want you to message me.
Whenever anything with Polanski gets brought up, I'm always just terrified of like the apologists, and I'm just hoping that that doesn't happen.
I don't want to ruin it for you,
Okay.
but I give that episode a thumbs down sad face.
Really?
Yes. I'm not going to ruin it for
I
you. I'm not
appreciate
going to
it.
say what they do, but I can tell you now that if they pull the same thing with this episode, I'm just not going to watch the rest of this.
Okay,
episode.
so you know me well enough. Is it going to be something that's going to piss me off too?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I was just saying, maybe just listen to our episode on it again.
Yeah, because when I went into it, I pulled no punches. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
is it about Polanski?
No, they barely mention him at all. They don't even, they say like, hey, he directed this and like, hey, here's how he was involved, but they don't say anything about anything,
Why?
including the movie.
All right, so
Yeah.
not exactly a resounding recommendation for Kirsten.
Wait, but you didn't read my name. No.
Was it an allegory vor or sex?
Was it an allegory for vor or sex? The big giant statue.
Oh,
Who's vor?
Vor? You don't know about vor?
Is this another Mighty Morphin Power Rangers thing?
No. Vor.
yeah.
I mean, it's an Amber Alert, though, guy.
Yeah, it scares the shit out of me every time it happens.
Wait. Rachel,
Oh wait, okay.
Rachel,
Google it. I just
do I
found
have to
a
tell you what vor is?
Yes, apparently.
Vor is a type of erotic desire or sexual fantasy to be consumed or to consume another.
Sounds made up.
What?
It's like related to eating. Yeah.
How do I not know this?
How do you think I feel? I had to explain it to you.
So is it the people that are like sexual cannibals are into vor?
Yes, or like people dream of eating people, but like not like eating them, but like swallowing them whole.
Is it the word root for like voracious?
Oh.
So they're really into that Nightmare on Elm Street movie then, where Freddy does that.
Oh, we've seen that movie. Yeah, I remember. I think it was on More Deadly. There was like a cannibal episode, and so I did a extended episode on cannibalism, and that shit gets real grim real fast. I was like, this will be a fun light topic. No,
What?
No.
Cannibalism got dark? You're kidding me.
I mean, I assumed it would have some degree of darkness. I thought it would be dim. No. You cannot unsee the things that you will see.
Everyone wants to try human meat, Rachel. Everyone wants to play the most dangerous game.
So, if it
Larry.
helps, Vor is usually kind of sidelined with inflation fetishists.
Ew.
What the fuck is that?
Ugh.
Yeah, I don't.
It's
I
where
don't know if I know that
isn't
either.
that the thing where someone watches someone else eat and drink so much that they
Like inflate, basically.
yeah.
You watch
So
them
like
inflate.
Willy Wonka,
Okay.
Violet with the blueberries?
Yes, actually, that is like a key scene for a lot of people.
Jesus
Growing up
Christ.
with, like-
Every day we stray further from God's grace. I swear to God. Like,
Oh my God. God's grace, a phrase that has never been said. Hundreds of episodes I've put out. Literally the first time that phrase has been said on one of our podcasts. Okay, so, I mean, I know people who are eaters, or I have a friend that does that at
Like the
in
mukbang
terms-
stuff.
I mean, yeah, well, it's not really about quantity of food so much as messiness of food. They get paid to eat. And it's all about, like, lots of mayo, stuff like that.
Oh, no, this is just like, so I'm reading up on it. And it's like...
what
it
is this
like-
episode?
This is a very academic episode.
No, it's they strongly contest themselves like very separate from sexual cannibalism
Okay.
I would try to, too.
because they're like normally swallowed whole and it doesn't have to always be human
Yeah, I really like seeing
Wait, like animals and stuff?
or like high fantasy dragons and
Okay, I'm
snakes.
back in. I'm back
Yeah,
in. If they're like fantasizing about like swallowing dogs and cats, I'm out. But if they're swallowing like dragons, how about it? Unicorns,
Or being
whatever, go
swallowed.
for it.
After consumption, the
Yeah,
enlarged
or being
belly
swallowed.
of the consumer is often described with great care. I can just read
mean-
this whole thing if you want.
What I want is an example. I want to hear somebody describe the belly with great care.
I mean, do you want me to? I can add it to my soundboard right now if you want. I'll find one.
Do it.
Okay.
Do it, coward.
This is a weird episode.
I was telling Justin, like, I didn't know how long it was going to be because, like, I don't have like a lot of really strong opinions on this, but I should not have doubted where things could go.
Oh yeah, we found a way to fill
This is
time.
the VC Andrews of podcasts tonight.
Oh, it's a lot about like
Yeah, you read it to us.
pregnancy stuff too. Like,
Okay.
Eating babies?
No, like the big like.
It's just
Inflation.
about having like a round, full belly.
No, well, that's part of it, but the main part
okay.
is like.
Sorry.
Guys, I'm down a weird YouTube hole. I don't know if I
Sure
can
you
do
are.
this.
I have no fucking doubt that you are in a weird spot right now.
Your algorithm is
I hope
fucked.
your VPN is on.
Okay, I'm going to. If you don't want to know what it is, it's animated,
I'm
so
going
don't
in.
worry. But that is.
I clicked. I shouldn't have, but I did it.
Oh,
I did too.
Watch it.
Lizard Woman
oh.
4. If you don't like it, turn back
mean-
now. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Uh-oh.
Wait,
Uh-oh.
so the woman is being eaten by the lizard?
Well, I mean that's like
Oh,
you
no, no, no,
The-
no.
the
no.
So
lizard
the
has
struggle
boobs.
is part of it.
I don't think the struggle is generally part of it.
See, I thought it would be the person eating the lizard.
Yeah.
So people watch this and get off. Let's look at the comments here.
This is a very lengthy linger on the butt crack.
Imagine having to
no.
get eaten in that position. That would be so uncomfortable.
Whoa.
Oh, wow.
Larry, why are you not describing this?
Oh, there's the tongue. The tongue is out.
Okay. Wait, she's still alive inside the stomach?
Yes.
What the fuck?
That's part of the thing, is alive
Yes.
inside the stomach?
Yes.
I need to go to church.
Wow, that finale. I don't want to, honestly, like, this is such a high fantasy kink. Nobody's doing this.
No,
I'm not.
I don't think you.
And no one is being harmed in
Yes,
this kink, so like
absolutely.
I am totally okay.
Yeah, don't yuck anybody's yum.
I am a Puritan,
Exactly.
so I have no problem giving my thoughts, but I also agree. But Jesus Christ.
I mean, it's more, I'm just kind of astounded by the complexity and variety in human sexuality. This had never even occurred to me, and I thought I was fairly knowledgeable about kink. Just, I have friends that are really kinky. People talk about it. I was a sex writer for years.
Like literotica?
No, like sex advice writer.
Oh, okay.
Like I would write sex pieces. I feel like I know things, but there's always something new.
I'm not gonna lie. I just thought everybody knew a bit more.
No.
Yeah, this is the first I'm hearing of this.
Nope, you
All right,
opened all of our eyes to a new experience tonight, Justin.
All right, I am sending a message to my kinkiest friend to tell them I just learned about vor.
And inflation, an inflation fetish. I'm surprised you hadn't heard of it. That one. That one's kind of more.
Don't say mainstream because it's just not.
It's more vanilla than vor.
Who's ready to talk
see what she
Hellraiser?
Sorry, I just had to send a message. I said I just learned about vor and inflation. Kink is legion. We'll see what she
I would
says.
really like to know what they say.
I'll let you know. The message has been sent. Okay. All right. Speaking of kink, let's get into, I would say, the kinkiest of the top tier horror franchises. I think that's a safe thing to say,
Yeah,
right?
I think so.
Yes.
I mean, obviously there is apparently vor in in Nightmare on Elm Street, but this one,
Yeah, Freddy
I think,
eats
is
some
born.
dude, doesn't he? Am I thinking of the right thing? Isn't there a scene where that happens?
I don't think it's a dude, isn't it? Patricia Arquette
Yeah.
that he eats. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, now that I know vor is a thing, that's what's happening. But this one was born specifically out of queer kink community.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say this is the kinkiest one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right. So let's get into. Oh, so far I've heard. So we are now on to Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth. Now, Justin, you have the background and production notes on this. Tell me about this movie.
First, I'd like to say that I introduced everybody here to vor today, so I feel kind of special about that. So, Hellraiser 3 is an American horror film, third installment in the Hellraiser series. It was directed by Anthony Hickox, and it stars our main man, Doug Bradley. Who's the lead character in the last movie again?
Kirsty?
Kirsty, yeah.
Kirsty.
She is only in this as a cameo kind of flashbacky thing, which always took me back. I really thought they were originally going to go with like the whole, she's kind of your Sidney Prescott's, if you will. Anyways, that's my own thoughts. New World Pictures and Film Futures, a production company owned by Clive Barker, held meetings about a third Hellraiser film before Hellbound was released, which was the second one. Barker had originally intended for the Hellraiser sequels to focus on Claire Higgins' character Julia, but Higgins declined to reprise her role in the third film, and her character was killed off in later drafts of Hellbound. Other ideas included a story set in ancient Egypt, follow-up to Hellbound, in which Pinhead attempted to resurrect himself, and a building that functioned as a Lamed configuration. Aspects of the latter two would make its way into the final script. During these talks, 20th Century Fox demanded extensive cuts to Barker's latest film, Nightbreed, which is a lost episode.
It will be found someday, I promise. I promise.
Oh, whatever. I mean, it was fun. We played Phasmophobia. Following a misleading marketing campaign from Fox that promoted it as a slasher film, Nightbreed underperformed at the box office and caused Film Futures to go out of business. With New World's own bankruptcy troubles, Hellraiser 3 went into development hell. Eventually, New World executives established Transatlantic Pictures, and the rights were transferred to them. And then following disagreements with Transatlantic, Barker had no official involvement in the project until much later during post-production. He said that the studio balked at his fee and they wanted a cheap and nasty film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of keep it short and sweet here, but the effects crew for Hellraiser 3 included coordinator Paul Jones, supervisor Steve Painter. For Hellraiser 3, Keane had used a 2-piece prosthetic where small plates in the makeup stood up to the pins. It took only 3 hours to apply the makeup, around 2 hours less than it normally took to apply the 6 to 7-piece Pinhead makeup in the past 2 films. Motor with an off-centered camera was also built into the right-hand side of JP's makeup, where it moved around the head and pushed like the piston to the left-hand side. And then the actors for both quote-unquote Barbie and CD Head wore prosthetic masks for their role, with a dummy replication for both characters for shots showing when they used their weapons. This film also included like 12 centibites. That's it. I'm so tired. That's it.
I'm sorry, Justin.
No, don't be
I feel
sorry.
guilty about making you do this.
Oh, why? Don't. I don't.
Okay.
Whatever.
Okay, all right. Well, then I don't feel bad. I take it back. I'm
Yeah.
glad I did
Fuck
this
you,
to you.
Justin.
Good.
So
Thank you.
Okay, cool. So you had the background. That means, Larry, you get the 60-second synopsis.
I do.
Are you ready? Because I'm gonna put got the stopwatch going.
You give me a 3, 2, 1, and I'll go.
3, 2, 1. Let's jam.
All right, so Hell on Earth decides to say fuck everything that happened before. We're just going to make this about Pinhead and talk about hell and stuff, which is okay. So we start off, this Pillar of Souls thing exists. This douchebag named J.P. Monroe owns it. This guy tries to steal from Monroe, gets sent to the hospital, chains rip him apart, and this really beautiful reporter sees it all happen, and she gets sucked into this entire crazy world. She meets Terry, and her and Terry kind of go on this little cat and mouse adventure, and basically my girl Joey fucks up, sends all these people to this Carrie-esque massacre at a discotheque. Pinhead is able to turn into a bunch of new Cenobites to come chasing after her, but Pinhead's other side, Captain Elliot, decides to try to help Joey. He recombines with his id. They unite. Joey stabs him with the box, which is turned into a dagger. She buries it in the cement, and then years later, a new building is built, and on the inside of the building is all the pictures of the puzzle box.
57 seconds and 8.8.
Whoa.
Nice.
You fucking killed that, dude.
Thank you.
I don't know how you got so much engaging plot into 1 minute. I'm so impressed. All right. Hold on, let me go back to my notes.
Mm-hmm.
Got fully distracted by our side conversation.
Oh, yeah. The whole Vor thing has just totally thrown me for a loop. So if anybody else is with me,
Yeah, I forgot why we were here.
yeah, it's.
All I want to talk about is that now.
I just have
This
so
is
many
like
questions.
when I learned about lunars.
So many
You know what I
questions.
mean?
Wait, how long ago did you learn about Nooners?
Oh, several years ago.
Okay.
It was when I saw the Poughkeepsie tapes. I learned about
Oh,
lunars.
wow. I haven't thought about that movie for a
Oh,
long
I
time.
thought you said Nooners.
Oh, I mean, I don't know what I knew about those. Like,
Wait.
lunars.
What is a lunar? I thought we were talking about nooners, and I was like, I know that one.
Lunars it's a balloon fetish.
What?
Oh, okay, I've heard about that. Okay, I've heard about that. Yeah.
Poppers and non-poppers.
Have you seen the what is it, like I forget what the show was called. It was like the weirdest fetishes or something like that. And it was a guy who he loved his red
Poppers
balloon.
and non-poppers?
Yeah.
Like people who are.
I mean, I can logic through it, but why?
Oh, Larry. I feel bad for you tonight.
Lunar.
Poor.
This was the night our
Vanilla
friendship
Larry.
ended.
He's just gonna lie awake tonight staring at the dark ceiling like, what is this reality?
Dude, you've seen the Poughkeepsie tapes, right?
Yeah.
You know how there's that whole extended scene where the girl's on the balloon and she's trying to make it pop and she starts getting scared because it's not popping?
Yeah.
That's because he's a lunar and he wanted her to get it to pop.
So he could ejaculate.
I didn't realize that.
Thank you for...
Well, I just had to make it clear.
So let's talk about the Pillar of Souls.
I was gonna say, you
want-
want to talk ejaculation? Okay, like
It's called EJing. Thank you.
right.
Have some class. All right, so Pillar of Souls. Let's get into our actual review. Larry, you're the only one I can trust at this point. What did you think of the plot of this movie?
I liked it, but it is a different kind of movie than what the first two were. The first two were very like interesting. There was like subtext. Pinhead wasn't the focus, neither were the Cenobites. It was like everything else around them in the story building off of that. And I feel like this movie very obviously just kind of took the, I don't want to sound like a dick, but like the lesser elements of the first movies, like the gore and the violence and the hooks and the sex, and basically said, well, we're just going to focus on that. I do like the character of Joey. I thought that she was interesting. Like, I thought making her a reporter gave her like a reason to want to dive in to the lament configuration and not like without having to have like a deviancy, you know? I thought that was really like a really smart way to do that and to kind of keep her separate from it. What?
You're like, we gotta X out the deviancy. It's a very Larry compliment. That's all. You're not wrong. I just made me laugh.
I guess like the hardest part for me is when we reviewed the other movies, we knew that what Clive Barker wanted was for What's Her Face to be the lead villain.
Julia.
Yeah, Julia.
To be the
Love
lead
Julia.
villain of the franchise. And I just think that would be so much more interesting. I think like there would be so much more to do with that. A lot more interesting stories to tell. I liked the plot. It was nowhere near the other two, which I thought were really kind of unique and brilliant. This definitely felt more like made for TV as opposed to what Clive Barker was trying to like really push with his vision. So I didn't hate it. I would watch this again. It's just, it is a left turn from kind of the journey we've been going on.
Yeah. How about you, Marzi? What'd you think of the plot of this movie?
Uh,
All right, Larry or Justin, what did you?
So, I mean, okay, so as being one of the four of us who's never seen any of these movies before, and so this is my first time watching any of them.
Same here.
And I legitimately like the first one. I legitimately like that movie for what it is. I know that the popular opinion in this room is that the first two are good and then it goes downhill from here, except for I didn't like the second one.
That's right. You gave it like a 60 and everybody else was, well, Justin gave it a 63. So you and Justin crapped on it. Me and Rachel liked it.
Yeah, I didn't care for the second one. So going into the third one wasn't like, well, we watched the two good ones and now it's just going to get weird from here. I already was kind of like, nah. I already was not expecting much. But it does. It's very different in the way it feels and in tone than from the first two. And this feels, the third one I feel like is more of your standard horror movie of the time, like the standard crank it out horror movie.
Someone you pick up from the VHS store.
Yeah. Or it does. I feel like it's a very standard third movie in a series, where the creativity of the plot has disappeared and we're taking just the shock value elements that worked in the first two, and that's 100% what this movie is, Yeah. So it didn't let me down in any way because it is exactly what I was kind of expecting it to be. So, I mean, I don't know. It's definitely not the worst thing I've ever seen in my life, but I'd probably say I spent a good, 40% of my time going, wait, what? Because it just was like, how did we get here? And then it just made it even more obvious when certain things happen, like when Joey's getting surrounded by the new batch of Cenobites, and she just kind of stops in the construction zone and waits for them to circle her, and then she's like, and it's one of those moments where you're thinking, like, why didn't she just keep running? But because the whole movie is why, it just made it even more like a, oh my god, why kind of thing the whole movie. And maybe I'm being way too negative about it, but I was just sort of like, yeah, it was pretty much, I think, what Rachel and Justin had been preparing me for mentally and emotionally.
We didn't build it up for you.
No, you definitely described it correctly, I think.
Yeah. Okay. How about you, Justin? What did you think of the plot?
So,
of this film?
I'm kind of two minds here because
fair.
In a weird way, like the authenticity to the first two is not there anymore. Like has been mentioned multiple times. No. Well, it feels like a completely different movie with some of not even the same characters, a similar character in Pinhead, but also like the sexual deviant in me was like okay with it. Like
Yeah.
Because I feel like I am very sex positive. And a lot of the themes that it was
taught us all about vor.
Yeah, exactly. No, and I just think that like all the themes that were kind of taught, like it was definitely more kink heavier, which was like, okay, cool. Like, yeah, all right, here, I'm cool. I'm here for it. But I don't know. It was just like also at the same time really cheesy. And there is that scene that sums it up perfectly for me where Pinhead tries to pull a Freddy when he's like in the church and like pins his hands and like puts them up and like tilts his head like he's on the cross.
Good point. Good point.
I feel like it's trying to be too many things while kind of losing sight of what it originally was.
Yeah.
Overall, I didn't hate it. I just kind of very like middling to positive about it because I don't think it was bad. I think it's kind of a cool idea because they do continue the story of kind of like, okay, now Pinhead's trapped in this thing and he's kind of been separated, his like ethereal self from his like demonic self, and he's trying to put himself back together while his demonic self is just kind of trying to kind of like raise all kind of hell and
his id.
Break loose. His what?
His id.
What's an id?
So it's this kink that
No, it's like it's a psychology term. It's like the ego, superego, and the id. The id's like you're just like base compulsion.
Oh, I'm not a psychologist. So his demonic self, his super horny self is trying to get out of this box. I mean, listen. So now that I have talked about vor, do you understand when like he is like swallowing the girl?
Yes.
That is what I mean. Is it vor or is it sex?
It's fully vor. Yeah, for sure.
Like because obviously like there is some insertion kind of allegories there as well, right? So I wasn't 100% sure because there's
a consumption kind of thing. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of very like middling about how I feel about this movie, but definitely like more towards the positive side, I think.
Yeah. I think I'm kind of on the same page with you of having two minds about it. The part of me that watched this on repeat at slumber parties has a soft spot for this movie. I think this is actually the first Hellraiser I ever saw.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, because it was, I mean, like the things we watched on repeat were this and Army of Darkness. Like
ours was and the first Darkness Falls.
I mean, another solid 90s select, right?
Yes.
And this thing, the 90s of this is so intense. When they talk about how the horror sucked in the 90s till Scream came along, this is what they're talking about.
Yeah.
This is what you grabbed at Blockbuster that had gone straight to video for a slumber party in the 90s. And so because that was a little like a pretty formative time in my horror fandom life, I do have a bit of an apologist. But as a critic, this movie is bad. And I know that it's bad. And both of these things are warring inside of me. This is when I feel like they decided, Freddy had kind of died off. Final Nightmare had just come out. And they were like, okay, this is our chance to grab this iconic spot. We're going to be the big slasher monster. This is the year that Pinhead went to the MTV Music Awards. Like, they were really kind. Yes. And oh god, the footage is so cringy. Oh my god, he's like scaring people for not letting him because he's not on the list to get in. It's cringe. And they were going for that. They wanted to kind of, I think, fill the void that was left by Freddy. And so they leaned into him as a character in the same way that they did later with the Freddy films. Yeah. And unfortunately, what's great about the Hellraiser franchise is that it is the not that.
Yeah.
It is the much more subversive, heady, kind of, like you said, deviant of them. Freddy is creepy but in like kind of a much more mainstream kind of way.
Yeah, and like not only that, but like with Freddy too, like for me, when Freddy becomes scary again, like is like not until like the very last movie, which was New Nightmare, and that's when Wes Craven had to like revamp everything we knew about Freddy.
Right. Yeah, no more like, it's prime time, bitch.
Yeah, but like that was never what these first, like, and that's the difference. Nightmare 2 started getting goofy. Hellraiser 2 was keeping along the same kind, at least for me.
Yeah, tonally.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it already was a little too much Pinhead because I think the backstory is a bad idea with Pinhead. He's most effective as a hell priest.
I agree.
He is less effective as a veteran.
Well,
Yes.
so
Because here's the thing is they're trying to set him up as good versus evil version, but he had to be kinky enough that he was going after that box, and we met Frank.
Do you know what
so
it
for there to
reminds
be
me
a
of,
good
Rachel?
version, what?
Have you seen the Hannibal Rising movie or read the book?
No, I did not, but I know about it, and the less Hannibal, the better.
Yeah, and like basically they find a reason why he's a cannibal.
I don't need that.
It's awful. Like it ruins. And I forget the author's name, but he said he only wrote that book because the studio said they were going to do this with or without him. And so he tried his best to write a story that he felt did an okay job with Hannibal, but it was something that he, like, to this day regrets. And you can see it's stupid.
Is it Thomas Harris, I think? Yeah, I mean,
Thomas
honestly,
Harris, good job,
Red Dragon I like.
Yeah, me too.
And
Red Dragon was
Silence of the
fantastic.
Lambs I like. You know what I don't like? Hannibal.
So
no, the series, yes. The movie, no.
I agree with you 100%. Even though I like Ray Liotta, we don't need that.
We do not need that. And that is not a shining moment for Ray Liotta
Nope.
either. Like, I never need to see him call someone corn pone pussy again. I'm like, no, thank you. I really dislike that movie.
And it sucks too because like you have Ray Liotta, you have Julianne Moore, obviously you have Sir Anthony Hopkins, and then you get Gary Oldman to play, in my opinion, one of the coolest book villains ever. And we got that.
Terrifying.
And we got that movie.
Yeah, that movie is real bad. But yeah, I think you're right. Sometimes it's nice to unpack the monster a little bit, like they did in Hannibal.
Mm-hmm.
I think there is a way to do it, but
This was not that way.
this was not that way. I just think it fundamentally undercuts the fact that the people that go for this box are people who either find it accidentally, which we know he didn't, or they're people who are deviants who are looking for an extreme experience. So for him to try to like make him heroic, I mean, not that those things are not linked, but
I mean, they
the
tried.
point of the box is about people who are morally corrupt. You know, being kinky does not make you morally corrupt, but the people that seek the box are. And so now he's like, I'm the good version. No, you're not.
Yeah, I think I probably gave them the benefit of the doubt by talking about like the id and the super ego and like how they were separating that, because I don't even think that much thought went into it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is a trope that is born of that Freudian sort of theory. So whether or not they intentionally did it because of that, I think it is,
Up in the air.
a result of that idea. But I don't know. At the same time, did I have a terrible time watching this, even though I could see that this thing was just nacho cheese all over my screen? No, I did not. I was confused, though, because the person they cast as the creepy bad boy in this looked a lot like Frank, and I was like, are they recasting
It looked a
Frank?
lot
It
like
had been long
Frank,
enough, but
and
I
his
couldn't.
voice sounded like at times was almost like dubbed over like Frank's was in the first one.
Yeah. All right, well, so that's it for plot. Let's get into visuals.
Scores.
Oh, god damn it! What's the score for plot, Larry?
I gave it a 6.5. I think I'm probably more of a fan of it than you guys, but I'm also like, I'm okay for what the 90s horror was because I accepted it, and I was prepared for a lot worse than this.
All right, how about you, Marzi?
5. It was
Okay.
average to me, or standard for that time period, I think, of just like, let's quickly make a horror movie that is riding the coattails of other better horror movies.
Okay, how about you, Justin?
I gave it a 6.
I think I'm gonna go 6.5. I think, Larry, you're right on with that. It's not good, but there is an element of enjoyability to it.
Mhm.
So 6.5, I think, seems right. Okay, awesome. So we've given our scores. We have done that. We can now move forward. Let's talk about visual. Mars, well, tell me what you think about the visuals of this movie.
So a lot of the effects were not as good as the first two, but I still enjoyed the gore.
Mm-hmm.
When that one lady gets her skin ripped off, or like the nightclub massacre scene, there's so
Mhm.
many effect moments in the gore that actually I thought were really fun to watch. I don't know if I'm the right authority to decide whether or not they were good, but it was fun to watch. It was a lot of creativity on how people were getting massacred in the nightclub.
Yeah.
And seeing that another full body skinless suit was cool. So visually, I mean, again, there were some weird moments with some like my first After Effects, kind of feeling moments.
Yeah.
That are not.
You're telling me that CDs being thrown at a guy and like floating around him aren't like fantastic top-notch quality?
I told Rachel that reminded me of Ghost of Mars.
I haven't seen Ghost of Mars in a very long time.
Yeah, one time, one and done.
Same.
Never seen it.
It scared the shit out of me as a kid.
That's so interesting.
Okay, I'm gonna have to watch this now.
Scared the ever-loving shit. And it's got a great cast. Jason Statham, Ice Cube, Clea Duvall,
Holy shit.
Pam Grier, hello,
Grier.
Foxy Brown herself.
and it's got like
Holy
a
shit.
really like hyper like aggressive soundtrack, like rock soundtrack.
Okay, I'm gonna have to see this. I'm gonna have to watch this movie.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I remember coming across that. It was like one of the same, like around the same time where I finally found like Killer Clowns, and it scared the shit out of me.
Oh god, that movie is surprisingly creepy.
Yes,
I love that movie so much.
I'm happy that's one of the ones I've actually like took a risk on with Justin and Justin liked. So
Oh yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, that
I
movie
mean,
is
it's just so good.
it's surprisingly good. You wouldn't think so by reading the title or the synopsis, but it's surprisingly good.
It's excellent.
Yeah. Or the only other effect I wanted to mention was when the two versions of Pinhead are merging and all of the like head warpy stuff. Not great, you know. So it's they're visually for me the effects were not as good as the first two, but they still weren't bad. They were still really fun to watch. I still enjoyed all of the practical effects and all of the, you know, the hook. Or the one that I really liked in the nightclub scene is, it's real quick, but it's a lady, one of the hooks catches next to her eye and just rips off the patch over her eye.
yeah,
I really liked that a lot. Or the human centipede of spear through 3 people.
Yeah.
There was a lot of stuff there that I liked.
One of those deaths, the lady, the shot glass like comes up and like the liquid in the shot glass turns into ice or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to quote Michelle here and say, "Oh, I didn't know he could like freeze his cum and kill people."
That's your wife.
Oh yeah, it was
all
great.
makes
I thought it was hilarious.
Amazing. Yeah, the scene in the discotheque, as Larry described it, reminded me a bit of although it's not as good, it reminded me a bit of another 90s classic, which is Wishmaster.
Oh.
I haven't seen it. I know what it is, but I haven't seen it.
You should see it.
It's so fun.
How did it remind you
it
of
is
that,
such
but
a-
not of the prom scene in Carrie?
Well, because you haven't seen Wishmaster, you don't know
Okay.
why. Because it is
Fair enough.
yeah. Once you see it, you'll be
Touche,
like,
friend.
okay. There's 2 scenes. There's an opening scene that it reminds me of, and then there's a final party scene. But that is a horror movie fan's horror movie, because it's just full. It has so many people you'll recognize in it. It has Ted Raimi, Robert Englund,
Ooh, cool.
the Candyman shows up,
Jason Todd?
Jason Voorhees. Yeah, yep. Like all those people show up in it, and it's a Russ Craven
Did
joint.
you just say Jason Todd?
Just I'm tired. I know it's not Jason Todd. His last name's Todd.
Tony
Tell me
Todd.
Todd. I am so
Jason
sorry.
I was letting him slide.
Ariel, go ahead and cut that.
No, don't. So, I'm gonna just kind of bring it up this whole episode now. No, I'm fucking with you. I won't do that to you.
Whatever. I'll
All
send you
right,
some Canadian
Justin.
bacon. Cinematography.
That's the name of Justin's porno.
Oh yeah, so clean.
The thing is, like, I agree with them. It's just so easy because, like, it's everywhere
There
here
is-
in America.
There's
Wait,
already
wait,
a movie
wait.
called
Canadian
Canadian
bacon
Bacon.
is delicious.
There's already
Yeah,
a
but it's
movie
not
called
Canadian bacon. It's just small circles of ham.
Yeah.
Right, Canadian bacon.
No, it's just fucking ham.
Does it have to be the shape of a maple leaf to be
No,
Canadian?
goddamn, it's just fucking ham.
That's
Title
all
of
it is.
title of your sex tape. It's just fucking ham.
It has to be doused in maple syrup and sprinkled with Timbits.
Oh,
Man,
got it.
Timbits aren't. They're just fucking donut holes. Like,
Title of your follow-up sex tape.
And
just
to
fucking
be
donuts.
official, it has to have Rocky and Bullwinkle on the packaging.
Oh my god,
goddamn.
I'm dying. I'm dying. The title of your sex tape are just fucking donut holes. It's too good. Okay, sorry. Visuals, Justin.
Yeah, I kind of agree with everybody. I mean, I don't think they are as good as they have been in the past, but they're not well, some of it's bad, but like most of it isn't horrible, and I think it really makes up for it in that discotheque scene. And like Mars had said, we get another cool skinless person. Granted, it is followed up directly by some vor. Yeah, I don't know. I think most of it looked cool. I was really like unimpressed with how the CGI of like Pinhead opening his eyes in the tower, or like in the what are we calling that thing? The pleasure cube of the box? What are we calling it?
Oh, the Pillar of Souls.
Yeah, the Pillar of Souls. I was very unimpressed with his like CGI eye opening and closing.
Yeah.
Followed up by even him like in it didn't look very good to me.
No, it did not. I don't know. I was weird. I was like, this
It
is
wasn't
terrible.
like-
I am charmed.
Like, obviously it was like he was just like had his head through a fucking, piece of whatever. But
100%.
But for some reason it didn't look right or good. I don't know why, but
It looked really fake to me. It looked very obviously a high school stage production. This is how we're pulling this off.
And I think it goes in hand with like the new Cenobites we got. I think that we got quality tier ones in the first and second one. And I mean, Pinhead even says like, oh, they're not the same as my
old friends.
Yeah, as my old friends, but here's some new ones basically. But they all just kind of like look pretty stupid to compared to the other ones.
Yeah.
I don't know. Even like, I don't remember the actual person's name, but like TV Man there looked goofy as fuck.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's Disc Man or CD Head or whatever you want to call him. I don't know. They just, it still wasn't bad, but it definitely did not get anywhere near the first two.
Yeah, it doesn't hit the way the first two do.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, that's
the Cenobites are one of the weakest points, because if you think about the original Cenobites, it's all about the manifestation of whatever their sexual deviancy is. It's just occupational.
Yeah,
This movie.
it's like whatever you
telling me
happen
that
to be holding.
the one guy doesn't get off to his own CDs.
Yeah, but that's
I guess.
that's more of like a plot critique, right? Though than like because they all look good. The eyeball thing I thought was pretty cool looking.
Oh, I see. That's the thing, is I don't think they look good though.
Okay.
Compared to the last Cenobites we got, I think the other Cenobites, even Butterball, looked better than these guys to me.
I mean, he was like slimy and creepy and bloated in a way that you felt like he was waterlogged, like it was way more disturbing than what. There's like some line where he's like, and cut or something. the cameraman guy. I'm just like, oh, this is not what I'm here for. But
you're not here for the one-liners of Cenobites now, apparently?
No. Imagine Deep Throat saying that shit. She would not. She
I
would
keep
never.
forgetting her name is Deep Throat, sorry.
And they kind of do a play on that with the girl in this one, and I'm just like, no. There's no connection to what her sort of core issue. Like, why is she a Cenobite? Her thing was she was just lonely and homeless.
She makes more sense to me than the other two, though.
I didn't realize that she died until she showed back up.
I know.
She dies like off screen, basically.
It's a bummer.
Yeah, that was a disappointment today.
Yeah.
I agree with what everyone said. I think the special effects were still pretty cool. They're watering down everything, right, that's come before. But the visual style of this movie, like you guys have already talked about it. It feels like 90s. Like this is what horror was for a while after Freddy and before Scream, which is why people didn't realize how instrumental Craven was, because he created the genre, he led the genre into a stagnant place, and then he was the one who pulled it back out. So that's my take.
Fair enough.
No, I
All right.
agree.
Well,
I agree with that.
What's your score, Marzi?
Yeah, I'm still gonna give it a 5.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right, Justin.
I'm going to give it a 5 as well.
Wow. Okay. All right, Laryl.
I give it a 6.5 again. Like I said, the 90s shtick doesn't bother me, and I thought the special effects looked cool. I think you guys were right, though. Pinhead in the Tower of Souls was kind of goofy.
Yeah. I'm going to give it a 7.5, because I think where it fails in the CGI, the practical stuff is still pretty great. I think it's inventive. It's like one of the things that they pulled from the earlier films that still works, and it works pretty well. I mean, nothing is going to touch the Frank being reborn, but yeah, 7.5, I think, especially for the 90s. All right, let's get into audio and performances. Marzi.
So, I just have a question.
Okay.
Was a good portion of this dubbed? Because a good portion of this seemed dubbed.
Yeah.
Like ADR almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they brought in a different voice actor or something for some of these characters, especially the camera guy was very, I don't know. So it's hard for me to judge a lot of the performances because I was so distracted by how the audio didn't match up with the visual of people talking and delivering dialogue and things. I liked Joey, the character. I thought she did really well. I actually liked Terry. I mean, yeah, she's playing a very stereotypical character for this movie, you know, the kind of rogue runaway, I just want to party and I don't know how to make good decisions kind of character. But I liked them both, and I liked them together. And I really liked the scene where Terry's trying to cook breakfast.
Yes.
And is just setting everything on fire.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the dialogue, yes, is very like, oh, I love your place kind of thing. But, you know, I liked our two main characters until Terry, I don't know, lost it, I guess. The thing that kind of bothered me the most was Pinhead.
Yeah.
Because in the first two, he's so stoic and mysterious and powerful feeling because you don't know, you can't read him. So you don't know what he's going to do, what he's going to say, what his take is on any situation, and it makes him very dangerous feeling. And in this, he's just so, like, big time.
He's camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I so loved the Pinhead from the first two that this was just kind of a real kind of gut punch a little bit to be like, oh, you camped up one of my favorite parts. All right.
I think that's totally fair.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm very much in the same camp with talk regards of the camp. I think Pinhead was just such an unfortunate turn. They tried to turn him into like a Freddy. They kind of ratcheted him up to like 11 where he needed to stay at like a 1 because I agree with Mars. I think his like stoic nature in the first and second one really like cement him as like this creepy person who you don't know what's going on. He kind of doesn't give his, well, he's very upfront about his intentions. You still don't know like what he's truly capable of, whereas this one he just kind of goes like weird and hammy. I think Joey was a fantastic actress and character. Again, same with the, I'm sorry, I don't remember the other character's name, the party girl. Terry was fantastic until she died off screen, apparently.
It's weird how they just sort of like toss that character away.
Yeah, like, I don't get it. Everybody else, though, was just kind of like there. I feel like it wasn't bad. It just wasn't like up to snuff. And I don't think the score or the music in this is like very inspiring at all. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely pulling that old score. I don't know that it adds anything new to it. When I hear the Hellraiser score, I'm like, oh yeah, there it is. Yeah. I recognize you. But there is, I mean, although to be honest, the 90s music were probably going to be a bummer.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
At least we didn't get Spice Girls.
Hey, well, no, see, I would have been okay with Spice Girls because I actually enjoy Spice Girls.
But in your Hellraiser movie?
I would have been something. No. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I would have enjoyed it, but like as a person, not like looking at the movie, looking to critique it, but as a person, I would have enjoyed it.
Fair.
Oh man, now I'm just picturing the scene where Joey's running away from the electrified water to spice up your life.
That would have been amazing. Okay, you know what? I'm back in. How about you, Larry?
So again, you guys have really covered everything. I think the strongest performances that we got are from Terry and Joey. I have mentioned before, I don't think Pinhead was even the most interesting of the Cenobites that we got in the previous two movies, and I am just never going to be kind to people trying to turn someone into something else.
Well, we've talked about it a lot recently, specifically you and I, Larry, about like trying to humanize the villain.
Yeah.
And how it like very rarely, almost never works.
It's just dumb. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And then like, Freddy is Freddy. Freddy is unique. The only kind of like of the big tier slashers that even comes close to trying to even emulate that is Chucky, and it's for an entirely different reason. Pinhead was, again, it was my favorite, but the Cenobites themselves were cool because they were kind of ethereal. They were beyond human like recognition.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think they even needed to be human. They could have literally just been like demons. And to humanize them makes them less scary, which we'll get to here in a second, obviously. And I don't have the nostalgia for it, but I guess I know a lot of people are upset that Doug Bradley got recast and now Pinhead's going to be a chick. But like, if you're going to do that, like, I'm cool with it. Like, just don't give it a background. Like, just make it it shouldn't even be gendered. It should just be Pinhead. It should just be a Cenobite. And I guess I just don't think Doug Bradley's on the same plane as like a Robert Englund or a Brad Dourif. Like, he's just not. And to ask him to do that is just a bad look for everybody involved. Joey's awesome though.
Yeah, the acting in this across the board is not good. I know that you find her to be very attractive, and I support your love of her. But I do. But I mean, I'm trying to think. Everybody is so camp in this. In that there is a style to camp. I think that they all achieve that. But I don't know if it's intentional, with the exception of Pinhead himself, where they were basically just trying to lift the character from another movie, right? And then slap some pins in its head. The acting is the weakest part for me. I mean, well, the plot's pretty bad too. But the acting is not great. I don't care. It doesn't... Because I know what this is. This is the epitome of like a straight to video kind of movie. Yeah. And I watch so much Full Moon. I'm okay with it. But if I'm being honest as a critic, the acting is quite wooden and silly in this. But I think that's okay. It's fine. It like I said, it does not limit my enjoyment of it. And I think I agree with everything you said about Pinhead. I think there were tactical errors, and it feels like a cash grab in a way that is not fun. Mm-hmm. So for me, the weakest part of this is probably the acting.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more.
Okay, cool. Let's do scores. Starting with you, Larold. What's your score?
Yeah, this is the second weakest category for me. I gave it a 4. And like I said, I wanted to like the heavy metal kind of punk theme they had, but it was just whatever.
Although I will say I did really enjoy the hairband.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
Hairband nightclub. Yeah.
Yeah. I did like that. All right. How about you, Marzi?
I gave it a 5, and I just have to say I had the hardest time wrapping my head around this nightclub, because it was nightclub, but then it was a hairband, but then there was another room where it was like fine dining, and the bartender was gonna suit. It was very bizarre to me. It was so many different elements, and I could not reconcile them together. So I just accepted it as a fever dream. 5. Yes. I give it a 5.
How about you, Justin?
I give it a 4. It wasn't very good. Yeah.
I'm going 5. On actual craft, it'd be lower, but I did enjoy it, so I'm going to be gentle and give it a 5. All right. Now is the part where we talk about where nightmares are made, where everybody got real scared by this movie. I'm sure these scores are going to be amazing.
Oh, so high.
How scary was this, Larry?
It was not scary to me, really, in the slightest. I did like the mass murder Carrie-esque scene. I thought that was kind of cool. It did make me flash back to Ghosts of Mars, which is a movie that absolutely scared the shit out of me as a young kid. But again, what I found scary about the first 2 Hellraisers was not what this was. And the church thing didn't do anything for me. And would you make your bad guy funny? I don't know. Like, Freddy is still kind of scary because like he's in your dreams and like he's like playing with his food. I never got that vibe from Pinhead. And I don't know. I just felt like I have seen scarier versions of this movie.
Yeah, the scariest things about this movie were JP. And
he is actually kind of scary.
He's pretty scary.
Yeah.
And the idea of being trapped in a nightclub and trying to rush the exits because there's an emergency, but in my mind it just reminds me of, when the nightclub catches fire and everybody's trying to get to the exits, not necessarily you're getting ripped apart by interdimensional demons.
You know what it reminds me of? Does anybody remember 28 Weeks Later?
Yeah.
When they're all trapped in the underground parking lot?
Oh,
yeah.
The one infected gets it. That's what it reminded me of. I mean, obviously this came first, but I don't know. Yeah. Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
That's right. You heard it here. Danny Boyle from Hellraiser 3.
Did Danny Boyle do too?
I don't know. I can't.
Yes, he did both. Yes, he did.
But it's funnier if he did. All right. Okay. Yeah. This. You made a point with the fact that the guy is really scary in real life. If you were to meet someone like that, it's terrifying. Yeah. He's a sociopath. That's a scary thing.
That is a scary
I don't know that the execution in the movie itself is scary. But I will say, when I watched this at like 14, it scared me. I thought this was the most gruesome and terrifying. I watched it through my fingers. I thought this was terrifying. Not 14-year-old me. We'll go with that. Not scared by this movie, obviously. I'm trying to justify giving it any points. So,
if you're following the Here's Johnny rules, you have to at least give it a 1.
Okay, all right. Justin, how scary was this?
Oh, not at all. I will say I have to give it points because I guarantee this movie was a lot of people in the 90s sexual awakening in like a weird way.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't know where to talk about that, but this is going to be it. Yeah, because I don't know. It was not very scary. It felt like weird, like the weird third cousin of the first movie.
Yeah,
and I mean, in the second movie as well. Yeah, I don't know. It didn't. Something about it didn't feel right, and I think it all kind of goes here too. Like even in the like how scary, just nothing was really working for me. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, although I will say I did eat a bunch of all dressed chips and then watch this movie and I had some really fucked up dreams, but that's not
what are all dressed chips?
I don't give the movie props for that. I give the fact that I was eating all dressed chips at 11 o'clock at night.
What is all dressed chips?
You'll try them. They're actually my favorite kind of chips.
But I thought that was tomato or ketchup chips.
No, we also have all dressed chips.
Is it all dressed? Like I'm all dressed up and ready to go? Or
it's wearing like a suit and like, got some shoes
on.
I'm
trying to figure out the word, you butthole.
Oh my God. I just Googled it. The best thing to come out of Canada is a smorgasbord style snack that combines all your favorite flavors like barbecue, salt and vinegar, sour cream and onion, and even ketchup. All dressed chips.
What?
It's fucking delicious.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
So it's literally it's all the dressings.
All right. I mean, I told you I'd try it. I'll try it all.
God, guys, like, they're not going to let me cross the border with all this
He's coming back to the problem, Dustin, not leaving.
Just tell them that you're hypoglycemic and you need it in order to survive.
They're road snacks.
No, you know what? I'll have to deal with the Canadian people going there, so they'll be fine with it. I just, like Larry said, I have to make sure they're all gone before I come back, because then I have to deal with the Americans.
Oh.
Well, we'll have eaten it by then.
Well, exactly. So I guess
in
I'm not
Trailer
too
Park Boys, they build a train across the river into America to ship their cigarettes. You can do that.
Of course they do.
You can build a little train track across the river and ship your
no wonder why I hate that show.
dressed chips that way.
I've been so nervous to tell you that I like that.
I love that
No,
show.
I mean, the thing is I do, people can, like, my whole family likes that show. It's fine. I just don't like that. I think it's so stupid. But that's just me.
You are correct. I mean, two things can be true. Okay, what's your score for this scariness, Larry?
I gave it a 2.
Okay, that's fair. How about you, Marcy? What's your score?
I gave it a 3.
All right, nice. Justin?
I gave it a 2.5. But again, kudos for the whole sexual awakening of many people. Not myself, but
he says too quickly.
Oh, that
Larry's
was probably
like, it was my sexual
I give kudos to that to a whole different movie. So don't worry about that.
Oh, what? Pause.
No, we'll get to it.
Is it in this franchise?
I believe so. I have to remember now.
Really? Oh, now I am double intrigued. Okay, so I'll be gentle and give it a 4.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, give it a... no, I'm lying. Give it a 3.
I'll say all our scores were really
That's
close until you did that, and then you went way above us. You're still way above the rest of us.
I mean, I told you, I'm an apologist for this movie because it was one that we watched a lot. This, Leprechaun, and Army of Darkness. And I thought they were all really scary.
All right, so to review the scores... Plot, I gave it a 6.5. Justin gave it a 6. Rachel gave it a 6.5, and Mars gave it a 5. For cinematography, I gave it a 6.5. Justin gave it a 5. Rachel gave it a 7.5, and Mars gave it a 5. For audio, Justin and I gave it 4s, Rachel and Mars gave it 5s, and for How Scary, I gave it a 2, Justin gave it a 2.5, and Rachel and Mars gave it 3s. That gives it a Scream Queens plus Here's Johnny final score of a 48. If we look at the series so far, Hellraiser 1 has an 88, Hellraiser 2 has a 70, and now Hellraiser 3 has fallen down to a 48.
All right, we can only go up from here, right?
Yes.
Right?
Oh, you're so optimistic.
Well, this next one is the last one I've seen.
Oh,
I have not seen
okay.
anything.
time
I have not
traveling
seen
one?
anything beyond.
Space.
It's space.
Which one is it? What one is it called again? Is it
Bloodline.
Bloodline? Hey, just so you guys know, eventually, and I'm not going to tell you which one, we will see Henry Cavill.
Really?
There's some other familiar
Yeah,
faces
yeah.
that we're going to start seeing very soon. Okay, cool. So we've got our scores. We're good. That just leaves our pairing. Now, Marzi, you are our sommelier. If you were going to revisit this film, which I know you will, what would you, what adult beverage would you enjoy while watching it?
I have thought about this.
Okay.
And it was inspired by what I was actually drinking when I watched this, but it's a different version. My expert sommelier pairing with this movie, if you were to watch Hellraiser 3 Hell on Earth, is to get a really bad whiskey and mask it with good Diet Coke.
Oh, God. Grim.
Just like the cheapest whiskey, and then just drown it in Diet Coke so you can't taste it, but you're still getting that buzz. That's what I would do. I did a different version of that where it was not a really bad whiskey, also in a Diet Coke, because I love Diet Coke. But
I'm enjoying a Coke Zero myself.
I love Coke Zero.
Okay. All right. How about you boys? Would either of you like to weigh in on a pairing?
I pair literally the same thing every time you ask me, and that is the Wayne Gretzky with maple whiskey, the super Canadian drink.
Because that's the only thing you have there in the...
Well, it's either that or like the Kraken or Ciderita.
Yeah.
Which I need to order another case of, but yes.
How about you, Lerald? Do you have a pairing?
Water, but not Fiji. You got a bottle of Fiji and you got Dasani on the inside instead.
I'm going to go with Mickey's 40 because that's what I was drinking at the age where I was watching this movie. And getting so drunk I couldn't finish it. All right, awesome. Okay, so that is it for our review. We don't have any listener feedback this episode, but if you want to get in touch, there's lots of ways you can do it. You can email us at rachel@zombiegrrlz.com. That's GRRLZ.com. Or you can hop over onto our Facebook page and slide into the DMs. And you can find us on Instagram and Twitter at ZG Podcasts, plural. And you should. We're a great follow. Ariel is doing a great job on our social media. Lots of funny memes, lots of great information. And again, you can slide into them DMs. If you are enjoying the show, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever it is that you're getting your pods from. It's really helpful and a great way to support the show, let people know we exist, as well as make us feel real good and build up our egos. And if you maybe have some extra coins running around and you want to spend them on us, please do. We've got a Patreon at patreon.com/zombiegirls. You get extended episodes, you get bonus episodes, you get to hang out on our Discord, all kinds of really good perks. Check that out. And we have some cool merch. If you want to check that out as well, you can do so at zombiegirls.com/merch. That's it for my plugs, but we're not the only people in town that need to do some plugging. So, Larry and Justin, tell us
So yeah, you can find us on Twitter at Here's Johnny Cast. You can find us at Here's Johnny Podcast on all your podcatcher ways. Like Rachel said, if you wouldn't mind leaving a review for us, you can do that now on Spotify. It's super easy. The more we get reviewed, the easier it'll be for people to find us. We're doing some Evil Dead stuff right now, and then we're going to be wrapping up our Alien season finally, and Justin and I are planning what is to come in the next season. You can find me on Twitter at BeaverLA, but my tweets are blocked because of work, so you have to be special to see them. Justin is a professional now, and he's no longer the pickle thing.
Wow, I know, I miss that every day. Yeah, you can find me at _Justin Wood. Also, I am going to take time here and say, Mars, that was a fantastic joke, and I truly appreciated it. I'm still laughing about it on the inside. But yeah, go follow us and listen to us. I got nothing else.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yes, definitely subscribe. Hit that, smash up that
Oh,
subscribe
and make sure
button
you check
for
out
them.
Justin's articles.
It's a great show.
He does write over on Dread XP, and he gets to do a lot of cool things.
Ding,
so
ding,
make sure you
ding.
go check that out.
I'm too humble
He
to
has
say
a
it myself.
scoop coming. Ooh,
I have
you
a
better
what?
be following a scoop. You've got a scoop.
Oh, yeah, right. I have a scoop.
It's coming. It's out. You've probably seen it everywhere by now. And you know who got that scoop? Justin.
Yeah.
Justin Wood.
Jay
Actually,
Money.
you know what? I'll say this here because I don't think we've really said it that much. If you look under the Dead Space 3 Wikipedia, here's Johnny is a link in that Wikipedia article.
Oh, shit. Look at you.
Yeah.
We got some big deals on this one.
I know,
They're not
right?
going to be able to hang out with us much longer,
I
Mars. We
know.
better enjoy this. They are getting too BFD.
All right, now I got to go back to my humbleness. And
Justin
just
is
say,
not me.
Thanks, guys.
I'm just chilling.
I'm just trying to
Awesome.
I'm just trying to live my best life. Okay.
All right. So unless people are sticking around for the extended episode, we are wrapping it up. But we still need to figure out what we're watching on the next episode.
Title
Mars.
of my sex tape. I had to do it. Okay, everybody else was doing
No,
it.
that was good.
That
That
was
was
a good
good.
one.
That was good. Mars set you up and you knocked you down. That was good. That was good. So, Marzi, it's your turn. What are we watching?
Okay, so it is on Shudder. I somehow, completely unconnected, watched this movie after I watched all 3 of the Fear Street episodes, which you'd been trying to get me to watch forever, and I finally watched them. And this movie weirdly connected, and so it kind of seemed like something I wanted to watch with you. It is on Shudder. It's called The Last Thing Mary Saw.
Yes. We've been talking about watching
Yeah.
this. I need to put this in my eyeballs.
Yes. So it is finally time, Rachel. We're watching The
Yes.
Last Thing Mary Saw, and I'm very excited about it.
My body is ready. Let's do this.
I'm very excited. I'm excited to talk with you about it. That's what we're doing next on Shudder, folks.
Perfect. All right. So that is it for us, unless, like I said, you are sticking around for the extended game where we're going to find out what dirty, filthy sinners these people on the show
Oh, I can already tell you I am one.
Mars, take us out.
Thanks for coming back. Next time we are watching The Last Thing Mary Saw on Shudder. Watch it. We'll talk about it. It's going to be great. That's all, folks. Good night.
Bye, everybody. Thanks, everybody, for listening, and to Mars for always being willing to geek out about horror movies with me. Production on this episode was done by yours truly and edited by Ariel Messman-Rucker. And our theme song for this show is Die Historic by 3 Chain Links. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the extended episode where, as I teased before the end of the episode, we're going to find out what kind, not only if, but what kind of filthy sinners people on this podcast are. So, first things first, these are all based on the 7 deadly sins. Is this a concept that you are familiar with?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so they are lust, gluttony, greed, sloth, wrath, pride, and envy. Off the top, which one do you think you are most guilty of?
Can I pick 2?
You could have like a sun sign and a rising.
No, I'm serious. Can I pick 2?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Am I going first? I guess nobody else.
I mean, I feel like you just put your hand up.
So I will
tell
say
us.
gluttony. I like food a lot, like more than I should, and it's how I live my life. But also probably lust as well.
Okay, all right. This is where the vor comes in.
No, I'm not. I'm sure nobody wants to hear about my sex life. So,
I mean, I don't know. The internet is full of all kinds of things. I'm sure they'd love it.
listen, you have said when you found out what
Yeah,
astrological
your signs.
signs, you were not.
Yeah, you're like a Taurus and a Scorpio?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh.
I will say you are
Your
not
genitals
wrong.
are in danger. All right, how about you, Marcy? What of the 7 sins are you most guilty of?
Oh, God. I think I'm going to have to pick 2, too. Because I
Okay.
think I'm mostly sloth with a rising envy.
Really?
Mhm.
That surprises me. Like, what do you have to be envious of? You are everything.
Oh, no, I don't know. I do the thing where I'm like, all right, rich people who can just
Okay,
get on their
that's fair.
boats and, like, not care. You know?
How about you, Larry?
Pride.
I can see
Okay.
it.
I feel
I don't
like
mean that in a
pride
bad
and
way
maybe a
either,
little
just so
bit
you
of
know.
wrath.
Yeah, I would say Wrath would be the other one, but I don't know. Wrath. It's probably Wrath. You're right. I think it is Wrath. I can fly off the handle.
We have a podcast where like every episode is about rage.
You're right. It's definitely Wrath. It's definitely Wrath. I can guess. Okay, fair. Yeah, it's Wrath.
Yeah, I think for me it's probably sloth.
Yeah, I take a lot of naps.
Yeah, me too. I love naps.
And even when it's
Naps
not-
are life.
Even when I'm not napping, sometimes I'm just sitting there like, but I don't want to do anything. I may as well nap if I'm going to be immobile.
Mhm.
It's like I'm not even tired half the time. I'm just like, well, this is a thing to do.
I'm already here.
Right?
I have everything I need. Pillow, prone position.
Or it's like, oh, I don't have anything to bring to work with me for lunch tomorrow. I could probably just eat goldfish crackers all day, right? That'll be fine.
Goldfish crackers are so good. Okay, all right. So now we've all heard what we think of ourselves. So now we're going to play a little game of most likely. So there are 7 of these scenarios. Each of them are based on one of the deadly sins. And I want you guys to say amongst yourselves which of these we think the other is the person most likely to commit these sins.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, which of us is most likely to have an honest to goodness or badness sex dungeon in their house?